right, it's the Wrestling Caucus. Peter A.
Smiley Arriaga.
All right. A lot going on.
Jesus.
That's a lot. Where do we even start?
Oh, God.
Where do we even begin?
Where do I even start? So you can start with SmackDown.
No, we're going to start with SmackDown.
Oh, God.
No, Dark Side of the Ring.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Good God. Yeah,
Nice.
it's not so funny.
Yeah.
Not so funny at all.
It's not funny at all. It's
God
actually
damn it.
quite sad. I was broken when I saw that.
If Rose is listening, I was laughing because of a Bailey and Sasha promo last night. But on SmackDown, we'll get to that. After we talk about Chris Benoit,
I can't believe. Why would you bring that up now? We're talking about something very tragic.
You were thinking like I'm laughing. Like, listen, we're talking about Chris Benoit. Why are you laughing? Like, there's nothing funny about that. But
okay, the Vice Dark Side of the Ring season 2 premiered, and they talked about the tragedy surrounding Chris Benoit, and I thought it was very, very well done. One, because the guys that did it are massive wrestling fans.
People actually care about wrestling. Actually, you can tell that you watch it and not like, oh, we're just talking about it just because people are talking about it. They actually want to. They actually care about it.
Yeah.
So,
and you can project a little bit because the game's pretty low.
Yeah. Pretty much when you're talking about this kind of thing, when you're talking about wrestling, we're talking about, especially something like Chris Benoit, you have to do it with care. You can tell when someone is talking about it with care, or when someone is just talking about it just, to talk about it, and they don't really know what they're talking about. I guess one example.
Sensationalize it.
Yes, exactly. One example of that was I guess years ago, a friend of ours showed us a clip of Howard Stern talking about the Benoit situation, and you can tell these guys
they had no idea what they were talking about.
They had no idea what they were talking about. And on one hand, you kind of expect that kind of.
Because they're just talking about something that just happened on the news. It was a thing that happened on the news.
Yeah, exactly.
So to anyone who's not a wrestling fan, it's like, okay, it's something that happened.
Yeah,
they don't know anything about the situation or whatever.
I mean, I respect. I kind of, on one hand, I kind of expect that, that silliness from Howard Stern. But at the same time, even listening to that, especially thinking about it now, it's like, oh, it's uncomfortable because you literally don't know what you're talking about.
But what makes this Vice show interesting, it's from a perspective of people that were close to the Benoit family, and it's done from wrestling fans that understand pro wrestling, so they can get the most I guess you could say accurate representation of what happened. And what made this interesting is that Jericho said in the past he wasn't really a fan of doing stuff like this, something along the lines of what they're doing on Vice, but he thought it was very well done, and and I agree. It was
because back in the day, the only thing people could talk about when talking about the Benoit thing was freaking roid rage. Yeah, nothing else. Not the concussions, not the just the roid rage. Yeah, that's the only thing people could talk about, and I get it, and after and plus. I remember Jericho and Cena went on, did media after that, and I'm sure they got sick of people saying roid rage. They probably got sick of it. Yeah, I would have. I got sick of it.
And they kind of talked about Nancy, woman.
Yeah, it
wasn't just about her being. Jericho talked about it on his podcast. It wasn't just her as the victim in the situation,
or her just being Chris Benoit's wife. She had a big role to play in wrestling when she was alive. I can understand WWE cutting out, the Benoit, Chris Benoit, out of all their records. But Nancy did a lot for they like to push the whole women's revolution thing. Nancy did a lot for that, didn't she? Yeah. She did a lot for women in wrestling, but they don't talk about that at all.
Yeah, Jericho said, okay, every woman has to be a wrestler, but she played a role she was a great valet.
She was a great manager.
She was very good at getting heat. You know what I mean? It's not just about, yes, of course, we want women wrestlers. It's always going to be great. It's great women wrestlers too, but not just. There's other types of look at from the men's side too, James Mitchell, Sinister Minister, Bobby Heenan, great manager. You know what I mean? Yeah. Even Jim Cornette, Paul Heyman. It's not people. There are a lot of important people.
Undertaker's advocate, Paul Bearer. Yeah. Yeah, so I almost forgot his name. Jesus Christ, early.
There's other people. You can be important to wrestling and not ever take a bump, so to speak. Or Miss Elizabeth. You know what I mean?
Oh, you know, a great example is Lena Vega. Even though for some freaking reason they make her wrestle. You remember they used to make her wrestle, and she was so good at being an advocate.
The money in her is in as a manager. Yeah, she's a great character, great talker. But yeah, I love how in this Dark Side of the Ring episode they kind of gave us a history of Nancy as a performer in wrestling. And I think it was so like tragic because when they were talking about Eddie Guerrero and how his passing affected Chris, and when Jericho talked about in the documentary, like when he hugged him at the funeral, like his tears like seeped through his jacket and it went through his shirt. Yes. You know what I mean? It was just like that's real heavy. That is so heavy.
No, I mean it's relatable. I remember at when we were kids at our uncle's funeral when we were kids. I remember my shirt being like drenched, like literally, like, as if I was sweating. Like that's how much. That's how much I cried. Like, but yeah. So I definitely find like I like that. Oh, there's a lot of that really like resonated and like it brought back a lot of like it brought back a lot of old memories. Because I remember a time where after Eddie Guerrero died, I was like I was already watching. I don't want to say wrestling because at this point WWE was the only wrestling company I probably knew of when I was a kid. But like after Eddie Guerrero died, like it was hard to watch WWE. It was really hard to watch WWE because like you know. It was during the time where he was with Batista and like, you know, they were building, you can tell they were building for like a storyline with him betraying Batista and taking the world championship from him. You can tell they were building towards that. And that would have been crazy. That would have been so cool. And then he died and I was like, it was hard to watch. But then when Chris Benoit died, I was like, there was a period where I didn't watch WWE at all. And up until recently, I couldn't put my finger on why that was. I'm like, oh wow, you know, there was a point where I just didn't watch. I'm like, oh wait, it's because after Benoit died, and I just couldn't. One, like people, I would go to school and everyone's saying like, oh, roid rage this, roid rage that, and like you know, oh, how can you watch that? How can you watch? And like I just didn't want to deal with anybody, and it was too painful to watch without like Eddie Guerrero and like with everything with Chris, like accepting what Chris did. Like as a kid, like all of those factors, like I just couldn't watch after a while.
I think the biggest takeaway from this is mental health, because I'm listening to Naomi on Lillian Garcia's podcast, and she was talking about how in wrestling, when you're hurt and you're injured or whatever, you know, you're cleared to wrestle. You know what I mean? You're cleared or you're not cleared, but like mentally. They have to check on if wrestlers are mentally cleared to go on the road or to wrestle as well.
Especially the WWE schedule.
Yeah.
Especially their schedule. Like, cause
I think a lot of wrestlers, if you're not feeling it mentally, you shouldn't be on the road. You shouldn't.
No.
Yeah.
No. And especially that's the same for any profession.
Yeah.
Football had a hard time dealing with concussions too.
Yeah.
Wrestling is not the only profession where they had a hard time dealing with concussions, or they just didn't want to acknowledge that or deal with, or I don't know, acknowledge that as a problem.
Yeah, and I think like them being like, at least with the more extreme case with Benoit, like both Eddie and Chris were like, you know, perfectionists, you know, and after a match, like Chris Jericho would say like, wow guys, that was amazing, and then they'll be like, nah, we messed up this, we messed that up, and whatever, and Jericho saw him doing squats for no reason because he messed up and he was punishing himself.
It was a weird form of self-punishment almost.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Like,
and Dave Meltzer told the story that he had dinner with Eddie and Chris after a match. I think it was in Japan, and they were talking about the match, and they didn't seem to like the match at all because they messed this up, he messed that up. But then like Dave was like, dude, that was just like one of the greatest things ever. It was. Oh my god, it was incredible. Yeah.
Let's put it this way. Like, when I was in school, I had to do homework. I had a huge homework problem. Imagine if, for every homework assignment that I'd missed, I didn't eat. I'd be dead. I wouldn't have graduated. I'd be dead. Yeah. Let's put it that way. Like that. Like, and perfectionists, it's like such as myself. Like with music, that's why it took me 3 years to make a 6-song EP. Like I like always. I am a super perfectionist, and like that I always. That's one. If there's one thing that I can relate to Chris Benoit about, is the fact that he was a perfectionist. That's one thing I can probably relate to him about.
But I think what's also important especially with creatives, if mentally you're not in it, or you're stuck someplace, it's okay to just stop for a while and then come back to it when you feel like it. Because there was a period of time, the beginning of this year, I was like in a rut, like I was like mentally exhausted. So I like stopped for a while, and then I kind of got my groove back when I felt it was right to go back and start doing podcasting again. Like, and yeah, go ahead.
No, that's not no. Like a friend of ours, Mike Cavazza, like a great engineer guy, engineer my album. I used to intern for him. One of the best pieces of advice that he ever gave me was that if you spend like 3 or more hours in the studio, walk away and take a break, take a breather, go outside and just, take a break. Because if you stay in there without taking a break, you're more bound to make a mistake, and your mix is gonna come out like shit. If you you gotta walk away from something and let it breathe, and then it'll come to you. Oh wait, this is what I have to add to it. This is what I have to take away from it. You have to take breaks. And I know some people probably. I've had discussions with this. I had discussions with about people. I had discussions with people about this. Like, oh well, who are you to say that he should have took a break? That's his craft. I'm like, yeah, that's great and everything, but you're distracting from the point that this guy, if he had taken a break, if Chris Benoit had taken a break, things would be a lot different now. If he had taken a break at any point in his career, if he actually relaxed, things would probably be a lot different.
Yeah, and Jericho said it in Dark Side of the Ring. After Eddie's funeral, he was mentally distraught. After that service, he had to go to Europe for a WWE tour. You know what I'm saying?
Look,
and then Jericho was like, why? Like, this is the time where you just have to stop for a little while. You know what I mean? And oh my God, this was like the most most tragic thing. One of the most tragic things in this documentary. After Eddie's passing, like Vicky would stay at home, and then she would cry a lot, and then Nancy would kind of help her out, like, yo, you gotta get up, you gotta go shower, do something. And Chris would lay in Eddie's side of the bed and just weep. You know what I mean? He would go up to Eddie's gym and just weep. You know what I mean? It's so you have to get away for a while, or just kind of just try to remove yourself from everything that you two did together. You know what I mean? Especially wrestling for just a little while. You know what I mean? Reconnect with your family.
At least that one thing, because that's the one thing that Chris Benoit never stopped doing, or just never took a break from. Was wrestling. It almost became it almost when Eddie. This might sound ridiculous to say, but when Eddie died, it's almost like that. I don't want to speak for anyone who knows him, or it's almost like his passion became his obsession.
Yeah, and it's a thing where,
even though sometimes a passion and obsession are the same thing,
you are not your job. A job is something that you do, or your career, but you're also a human being too. There's a lot to you than what you do for a living. Even though
you can also argue that for these guys, wrestling wasn't just a job for them. It was a passion. It was a way of life. But at the same time, it's there's a limit.
Yeah.
If your job is your passion, that's great. But like you said, it doesn't define you. He thought that's what defined him.
Maybe he didn't have anything if he didn't wrestle.
Exactly.
That's all he knew. Yeah. But I think everybody, even non-wrestling fans, should watch Dark Side of the Ring, because it gives you perspective.
Plus, I'm sick of explaining. Plus, I get sick of explaining this to non-wrestling fans, because this is a situation that's already hard enough to talk about. I get sick of explaining it. So yeah, please watch Dark Side of the Ring.
I think that the rest of season 2 is going to be interesting because I think the next episode is about New Jack.
Oh,
and he's one of the most.
I literally couldn't believe that when I saw it. Like,
I cannot wait. He is such an interesting character and a human being.
Oh my god, that's gonna be crazy.
Unbelievable.
Oh man, like they don't sugarcoat anything on that show, which I do love. Like I wonder what other there are probably so many other guys that you can do Dark Side of the Ring for.
Oh, that's a whole nother podcast that we there's so much stuff you can do. Man, that's both lighthearted and tragic at the same time.
Yeah, you can probably do one by Bryan Danielson. Like even before he went to WWE, because like Bryan, like okay, and another thing, like in terms of taking a break or like changing up your style. Could you imagine if Bryan Danielson wrestled people in WWE now the same way he wrestled Takeshi Morishima? With his eye popping out and shit. Like, could you imagine if he never changed his style?
I mean, it's smart if he changed. If he didn't change his style, he'd be dead.
Exactly. That's my point. Yeah. Like, thank God he did that. Thank goodness. Like.
Yeah. So, I want to talk about pro wrestling's fourth wall, kayfabe, as it were. I think one of my biggest gripes with pro wrestling right now is, and I hate to like complain, but I think there's too much shattering of the fourth wall in pro wrestling. Like, for example, like AJ Styles and The Undertaker. AJ's whole thing is he's calling Undertaker by his
no. Yeah, you're right. Yes, not The Undertaker, Mark Calloway.
Yeah.
He's not fighting The Undertaker, guys.
No.
He's fighting Mark Calloway.
He had to remind us that. He reminded the crowd. He reminded everybody. Mark, I'm not calling you The Undertaker because I know your real name. I'm telling you that I know, like, you're not The Undertaker. Like, you're Mark Calloway because it's real. It's real. It's like, no, man. No. I don't care. I don't care about Mark Calloway. I don't care. I care about The Undertaker. I
care about this match. How the hell did they not get me to care about AJ Styles for The Undertaker? You remember like was it 1 or 2 years ago when during Survivor Series, like AJ's first Survivor Series, they were building up to his first Survivor Series. The Undertaker came out and he was like, "Oh, if any of you guys lose, there'll be hell to pay." You do you remember that?
Who said that? The Undertaker?
Yeah, The Undertaker. He told all of them, like AJ. I forgot who else was in the ring. I think Dean. Yeah, Dean was there too. Moxley. And Undertaker told everybody, "Oh, if you guys lose to Raw, there's going to be hell to pay." And the camera was on AJ Styles. And I'm thinking, oh my God, this is a really cool way to tease AJ versus The Undertaker. I'm thinking, they're going to lose. And at that time, I was so excited to see AJ versus The Undertaker. I was so excited. Now, I don't know how the hell they made me not want to watch this match at all.
He kept talking about his wife. He kept talking about Michelle McCool. I'm like, I don't. Stop taking me out of the wrestling world. Like, don't take me out of the show.
Okay, you remember when DDP they had him stalk Undertaker's wife? You remember that? I get DDP, like on paper, DDP versus The Undertaker. I'm thinking, oh my God, how have I never seen this?
Layup.
How have I like? I remember when you told me that they fought on like WWE. I'm like, wait, how have I never seen that? I gotta look that up. And then I saw the angles, and I'm like, why the hell did they make him stalk his wife?
Stupid. Stop. Yes, we know The Undertaker. His real name is Mark. We all know this, but we don't care. Like, when I watch TV, if you're telling me The Undertaker's there, I care about the dead man, the guy that tells people rest in peace, and the guy that tombstones people. That's the guy I care about. Like, I don't care. I don't care about Mark Calloway. You know what I mean? Stop doing that. Stop reminding us that. Stop telling us that you're telling us wrestling's fake. We know wrestling's a work. That's not why we don't care.
But the thing that bugs me about this is that, like, they want realism in this feud or whatever, right? Like, oh, he's calling him Mark Calloway. But they're gonna have a boneyard match. So all this realism crap is leading to the most gimmick match on the card.
It's stupid.
Like, what?
It's stupid.
I can't do it.
Look, and
AJ's a great promo. He is.
Yeah, but it's just bad material.
But and like I'm sorry, I can't buy The Undertaker beating up Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. I can't buy that.
I buy it. He's just beating up two guys. That's okay. That's fine. But it's like the premise of why they're fighting is stupid. It doesn't make any sense at all. This is a layup. Okay, AJ should be like, okay, I've done everything in pro wrestling. I've done everything.
Even before he got to WWE.
Yeah, I've headlined the Tokyo Dome. I was the man in Impact. In WWE, I beat John Cena. I beat all the top guys here. The one guy I never beat was The Undertaker. Bong. That's it. Layup. No.
Well, John Cena versus Undertaker was a layup one year at WrestleMania. And you know what they did instead? John Cena and Nikki Bella versus The Miz and Maurice.
No, okay, at least with the John Cena Undertaker thing, he didn't call him Mark Calloway.
No.
He didn't bring up his...
No,
he just called him a washed-up legend. That's all he did. That's fine.
Oh, yeah, but like, man, those promos would have been excellent. But then they did it a year later.
Did Steve Austin call The Rock Dwayne Johnson one time when they fought? When they made millions of dollars?
Nope.
No. Because we don't care. I don't care. There's a small portion of the wrestling audience that reads Pro Wrestling Torch, that reads the Wrestling Observer, that wants the insight into the pro wrestling industry.
But even those fans don't give a damn that when they hear insider terms on TV.
Right. We don't want to see that on television. The grand scope of the wrestling audience wants a story, wants characters they can buy into. That's the realism of pro wrestling. Stuff that we can buy into, that we can buy. Not stuff that's not like you just dropping down the curtain and showing us the cameraman's underwear. Like we don't care. And as much as okay, I love Cody Rhodes. I think Cody has reinvented himself, and he's doing great things in
beyond to a point where like no one could imagine.
But I'm watching Dynamite, and he's calling himself a babyface. I'm like, what? Why? Why are you doing that?
No, I mean the exact line. Again, you see that I can, even though as stupid as silly as that was, I can like sort of defend it because like he said his line was, I think he was. It was sort of meant to be a playful thing. He was like, "Oh, I don't mean to sound like a whiny baby face." That's probably what people. He's like, that's like a criticism that people have about him, like, or especially what Jake the Snake said about him. But maybe wait a minute. Maybe I'm probably reaching here, but like, you remember how like Jake the Snake when he debuted, how he kept saying how like, "Oh, you're so whiny. I'm sick of hearing you whine," and then like.
But Jake didn't call himself I'm a big heel.
Yeah, it's
You're
true.
just a baby face. Like, yeah. No. The only people that should be using those terms, either people on the internet talking about wrestling, or when you're backstage putting together the show. Not on camera. I can understand.
If you do it once in like every like 2 years.
I don't know. I think.
Like, I don't know. If you have to do that.
Just like any other form of TV, there are elements of satire and elements that break the fourth wall and stuff like that. I think that's okay in doses, but I think in pro wrestling, don't use like Tony Schiavone is like, yeah, he's out there cutting a promo. I'm like, no, man, no.
Wait, who did you say that about?
No, I think who was he doing? Jericho. Yeah, he's talking about Jericho. He's like, yeah, he's cutting a promo on a drone. It's like,
I mean, that's kind of funny. I mean, because that's okay. If Jericho was cutting a promo on Moxley and Tony Schiavone had said, "Oh, he's cutting a promo on Moxley," that would be like, don't do that. But like at that point, think about it. Jericho was literally cutting a promo on a drone. Matt Hardy was like, freaking teleporting in the audience. At that point, I guess like fuck it, right?
Like, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. But I'm just saying there are certain things about wrestling that, like, okay. You don't need to... Yes, the wrestling world knows certain terms in wrestling. We all know that it's a work. We all know that all this stuff. But I'm just saying, all wrestling is character A, character B, tell a great story that we can buy into, that we can buy the pay-per-view or watch the show, that we can like connect with. That's it. You know what I mean? That's what the realism is, stuff that's not so far-fetched that you can't buy into. You know what I mean? We just want to see two human beings. Chris Statlander calls herself an alien. Great. Undertaker says he's dead. Great. Okay, fine. As long as you tell a great story that people can buy into, great. If you are constantly harping on the fact that, okay, yes,
we're in the wrestling business, guys.
You know it to work, and we know it to work, so let's just call it what it is. No, that's the death of the wrestling industry, in my opinion. Just tell a great story with great characters.
Stop if you go too far with that, then you're opening the floodgates for a lot of corny bullshit.
Yes.
Like, a lot of, like, corny, that doesn't need to be that corny. Because wrestling itself is already corny in a sense. That's kind of what part of its charm. But at the same time, there should be limits.
I think wrestling can be satirical about itself. I think the wrestling can make fun of itself. I think they have to walk a line on how they do it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm watching, like, the Simpsons or something like that. They would talk about certain things that television shows do without telling us that the Simpsons is a television show. You know what I'm saying? Like those Troy McClure episodes, like when the show would talk about the show. You know what I'm saying? Or like Kenan and Kel, right? Kenan and Kel, the whole idea is that it's a show, right?
Yeah.
But they're not necessarily telling us that Kenan is an actor playing Kenan or Kel is an actor playing Kenan. They're just telling you that this is a show.
You know what I mean? You know what cartoon did that rarely but really well? Billy and Mandy. There were some episodes, like, some later episodes where, like, they'd have, like, gags about, like, oh... I remember Mandy, like, during, like, the storyline of one episode, Mandy was like, oh, fuck this storyline. I'm walking off of this show. Like, you know, like, they do that. But it was funny because that was, like, the first time they did something like that.
Yeah,
and this is, like, towards the end of the series.
All I know is that when I'm watching The Simpsons, Homer never tells us that, oh, I'm just a creation by Matt Groening, and I'm voiced by Dan Canzanella.
All right, guys, let's go to the next sketch.
No, that's the death of the show.
Yeah. Let's go to the next sketch, guys. Please. Okay. You know an example of a show that does that to an extent that pisses me off? Saturday Night Live. Saturday Night Live, like, and I love Kenan. I love Kenan Thompson. But, like, and he's one of many people on the show that do this. Whenever they have a sketch, you see them laughing. You see them laughing. You break character laughing. Okay, I get it. The show's a parody. But, like, the thing about that makes a parody funny is that there has to be a believability. Like, Homie the Clown from In Living Color, even though it's not fair to compare us to In Living Color. Homie the Clown. You remember how... The reason why he was so funny was because... Yes, he was a clown, but this was a guy that hated his job. You can see that this character hated his job. And that's what made it kind of funny. On Saturday Night Live, they're freaking telling jokes, and they're laughing. I'm like, I don't buy this. Like, I don't know. I can't stand it.
I think, especially in AEW specifically, there was a moment where they kind of peeled back the curtain of wrestling just a little bit, but I think they did it in a way that didn't ruin the integrity of wrestling. Like in that, I don't know if you saw that sit-down interview with the Bucks and Hangman Page and Kenny and JR right before Revolution.
Oh wait, yeah. I remember that when Hangman walked off and he was like drunk. Yeah, I remember that.
I love what I think Nick Jackson. He was like, he said to Hangman, "It's like you were just a jobber at Ring of Honor before you got with us." I'm like, wow,
that's powerful. You see, when you do it sparingly, that's very powerful.
Yeah,
I don't know, like,
but it's not totally bringing down the curtain of wrestling.
No. Like, and like the thing is, like, the whole cutting a promo on the drone thing, I will defend that only because, like I said, at that point, things are already fucking ridiculous.
That's very minuscule. Like, I'm not gonna live and die by that. Like, it's not the worst thing. But I'm just saying, and generally speaking, wrestling should move away, especially on TV, from using insider wrestling terms. They should move away from that on screen. You know, because the whole point of using terms like that was to keep the work within the promotion and not tell the whole world what's happening in wrestling, if that makes any sense.
I like when Punk did it. When Punk did it, like you said, like, oh, breaking the fourth. It was interesting because, like, that was a moment that, like, was so organic and so unexpected.
Well, CM Punk did it in an interesting way. This CM Punk's whole thing was that he's like, John Cena, I like you. I like you more than I do the guys in the back. But I hate this idea that you're the best. Because I'm the best. I'm the best in the world. That's fine. I think that's okay. And he's like, I'm not in the signature that's produced at the start of the show. Stuff like that. That's kind of peeling back the curtain a little bit. But he did it in a way that didn't, that kept you into the story or the world of pro wrestling.
Like, the whole point of the promo was how CM Punk felt.
It's CM Punk as the character, not Phil Brooks.
Yes, exactly. He didn't. I mean, there was that one point where him and Triple H were cutting promos on each other.
That's a whole nother podcast we can do on.
Yeah. He called himself that whole Phil Brooks.
Like, I don't like that stuff.
That was corny. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Okay, I guess we can talk about WrestleMania now.
Fuck.
God damn it. This is interesting times, man. I swear. Like, this WrestleMania, we've been talking about this offline. This is WrestleMania 2000. It's WrestleMania 2000. Because WrestleMania 2000, no one talks about it. We know what happened, but no one ever really talks about it.
What happened? Again, what was the main event of that?
It was The Rock versus Triple H versus Big Show versus Mankind.
Oh my God.
Mankind, who was already retired by Triple H the pay-per-view before.
Oh, Jesus.
And No Way Out. And he was here wrestling. And there was a McMahon on every corner. Yeah, no one ever talks about that. The only thing from WrestleMania 2000 that people talk about are I don't hear too many people talk about it, though. It was Benoit versus Jericho versus Kurt Angle for the European and Intercontinental title, I believe. And it was a 3-way ladder match with the Dudleys, Edge and Christian, and the Hardys. No one talks about anything else. Ice-T was at WrestleMania 2000. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he came out with the Godfather and was it the Godfather? It was the Godfather and D'Lo Brown. Yeah. No one remembers that. This will be just like that. It will be just like that.
Oh my God. Like, SmackDown opened up with a typical Bayley and Sasha promo.
Well, yeah, so they're setting up Bayley versus Sasha versus Naomi versus Naomi versus Lacey Evans and Tamina now because I think Dana Brooke is quarantined. So yeah, that segment yesterday was God, it was awful. You know what it was? It was a lame. It was just a lame stereotypical opening segment WWE promo that's done to death. That's not interesting. It was just I don't care two shit.
You know what the thing is, like,
match now. Yeah.
Obviously, okay, Bayley and Sasha's obvious weakness is that these two can't cut a promo to get themselves out of the gulag. Like, the thing is, in any other company, like when someone has a weakness, they hide the weakness so they can, help find a strength or, try to, help that weakness into a strength, right? In WWE, if you have a weakness, that weakness becomes your character. Like, for example, Baron Corbin, right? His weakness, right, was that, like, okay, this guy has, like, no character, and the crowd is bored with him. And what was his character, eventually? That no one liked him, that he had no character. Seth Rollins said it on TV, you're ruining Raw ratings. Even though that was, like, wasn't all on Baron Corbin. But, like, the thing is, like, Chad Gable, like, he's short. What was his gimmick?
Shorty G.
That they became one of the best wrestlers they have in that company. The guy who was also part of one of the coolest new tag teams to come out of NXT. They murdered him and they made him Shorty G. Why? Because he's short. So that's his character. Bayley and Sasha, they can't cut promos to save their lives. Now their characters are that they can't cut promos, so they can get heat.
I guess the question that I can ask about WrestleMania to start is that I guess this one is kind of obvious right now. Given the situation of the world right now with COVID-19, is there anything, because I'm looking at the WrestleMania card, it's 14 matches. Is there any match that you think can be taken off this card and be done at a later date, or doesn't need to happen. You know what I mean?
I would take 75% of this card off of the show to make it better.
So I guess we can all agree that this SmackDown Fatal 5-Way does not need to happen.
No. No, it doesn't. At
least at WrestleMania. They can do it at one of the B, C, D pay-per-views post-WrestleMania, or they can just do it on another SmackDown.
Or you could pull if you're going to put Becky and Shayna on night 1, you could pull a Wrestle Kingdom and have the winners of both women's title matches unify the titles on night 2.
Why would they unify the titles?
Yeah. I mean, actually, I had this thinking about actually that because it wouldn't be a good idea because Becky already did that, last year. Yeah, she already did that last year.
In retrospect, I didn't like that. But
so
anyway,
this time she'll only be doing it in front of an empty arena. So
I think there's a few. I think there's some matches that should happen, like Edge and Randy Orton.
That's literally the. I don't care what anyone says. That's the match of this year. That's the match of this show.
That needs to happen.
Goldberg is great. I want to see Drew McIntyre versus Brock Lesnar, but Randy Orton versus Edge is the match of this show.
Because we don't know how long Edge is gonna wrestle for.
He doesn't.
And this program has been built since January.
He said in his promo, he's like, I don't know how long this is gonna last.
Exactly. So do it while you can.
Hell, I would have Edge if he beats Randy Orton on night 1. I'd have him fight Goldberg on night 2, but I guess he's already fighting Braun Strowman, right?
Anything is possible at this point. But one thing I loved about SmackDown yesterday is that they were building up Goldberg versus Roman Reigns, and we all know that Roman is out.
Yeah.
So, I know SmackDown was taped, so there's certain things that you can do. Like, okay, we can just not talk about the Goldberg versus Roman. You can edit out the show because it's taped. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I mean, if they edit that out the show, people are gonna notice. That's the thing. It's not,
no one would have noticed. If they took out all the talk about Roman versus Goldberg, no one would have cared because they know that Roman is out of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And I think Roman and Goldberg, you can do that at a later date. You can do that at SummerSlam. You don't need to do it at WrestleMania, given the circumstances now.
But what if they make Goldberg keep the title until SummerSlam?
I mean, I don't know. I mean,
does he need the champ? I don't even think that if they have to do Roman versus Goldberg, that match does.
You don't have to do it at SummerSlam.
It does not need to be for the title. You can do it at SummerSlam, but I'm just saying it does not need to be for the championship.
No.
At all.
You don't have. You can, but I guess my larger point is that you can do Roman versus Goldberg at any time. Well, yeah, you could do that at a later date.
Yeah, no, yeah, you can do that at any time. Yeah. I'm just saying it does not need to be for the championship. Like Brock and Goldberg at WrestleMania. That the second time they fought, that match was incredible. It did not need to be for the title.
No,
it did not need to be for the Universal title.
I think Brock versus Drew McIntyre, that needs to happen.
No, that's a match that has to be for the championship.
I've liked the way they built that matchup, and I think it's definitely Drew's time, and they got to pull the trigger now. Yeah, we're in a pandemic right now.
I feel bad.
Pull the trigger right now.
I feel bad that because McIntyre deserves to win that title in front of a crowd.
Yeah, but I think...
But, they have no choice. Literally, they can't... What's going on right now, they literally can't control.
I think it's interesting in wrestling right now. I think some of the no-arena shows have been pretty good, both in AEW and WWE. The first crowd show would be big. The crowd is going to be so excited just to be back in a crowd. You know what I mean?
I think they should... when the crowds start coming back in, I think the first Raw and SmackDown in front of a crowd again should be at the Performance Center. Because, I don't know, because, it's... When's the next time you're going to see a Raw and SmackDown in an intimate setting like that with people? You know what I mean? A
thank you to the fans.
Yeah, exactly. Like you know how they did NXT Fan Appreciation Night? That's a great idea, but I think they should also do that with Raw and SmackDown. Because, like I said, when's the next time you're going to see those big shows with that many viewers in an intimate setting like that?
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
you could do a Performance Center week.
Yeah, for the fans. Because, what's wrestling without the fans?
Yeah, That's a good idea.
AEW and AEW, like, you know, it'll just be like right back on the wagon for them, like right back on the horse.
It's gonna be big, especially with you got Matt Hardy there now. You got Vanguard,
Brody Lee.
You got Brody Lee.
I can't stop watching that Brody Lee promo. Yeah. I can't stop watching that. It's so freaking like. I gotta ask you something. Like, do you think he was? Do you think he was imitating Vince?
Imitating Vince?
Because like,
making fun of Vince.
Yeah.
Took a shot at Vince, yeah.
Oh, okay. No,
he's like, you're not the only out of touch old man that.
Oh no. That yes, no, that was definitely a shot at Vince. I mean the one where he's eating dinner with with his two cronies. That
yeah,
one.
Yeah. When he sneezes and the whole there's a whole thing that Vince doesn't like sneezes.
That's not a joke.
That's a joke. Yeah, there's a whole thing. I don't know how true it is, but there's a whole thing that Vince doesn't like sneezes.
Huh? That's funny.
Apparently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Forget what I said. That I guess he was imitating me. It's like
maybe.
I was gonna say like, you know, because I hear a lot of people say like, oh, you know, with the, you know, he's like imitating Vince, and I'm just like, I mean, like, that wasn't the first thing I thought about, but at the same time, that when I think about it, it's hard to argue that. But like, I don't know. And plus, he was wearing a similar colored suit that Vince would wear. Like, but like, I just the only thing I can think about with that promo is just like how cool fucking Brody Lee is. Like, and like how like any company can make this guy feel like he's nothing is beyond me.
Yeah, he's in a role that's perfect for him.
Yeah, and he's like showing all of his talent. He has a wide range of he can do everything. He can talk. He can work. Like, easily. Like, I've seen this guy do stuff, like, with ease that other people struggle to do. Like, it's unbelievable. I'm glad he's in a place that they can show that off.
All right, back to WrestleMania. Regarding, like Charlotte versus Rhea Ripley.
Oh.
I guess the idea that an NXT title is taking place at WrestleMania is nice, but I think it'll make more sense if it was in front of like 60,000 people, an NXT title, you know what I mean? So I think Rhea and Charlotte, you know, it can happen, but I think we don't need to. I don't need to necessarily see that happen on WrestleMania.
I don't think that match. I think I said this on our last. I don't think that match needs to happen at all. I think Rhea should be fighting an NXT person.
But yeah, like her fighting, yeah, that can happen too. But I understand the idea of her wrestling Charlotte. I understand the idea of it, but as a whole, it's kind of crazy because Rhea's like we talked about this last time. Rhea's the champion, and it's almost like she's the challenger. That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah, she's challenging
because Charlotte is the bigger star.
A main roster person to challenge for her. Like,
it's almost like the prize is you wrestling Charlotte at WrestleMania, even though you're the NXT champion.
That annoys me. This whole match. I've said this before. This whole match, like, it just annoys me. It's like, I was so happy with Rhea Ripley beating an NXT star for the championship, and now she's begging a main roster person. Like, I remember when Kevin Owens, like, challenged John Cena. Kevin Owens like, I don't need to fight for your title. You need to fight for me. You need to fight me for my title. Like, you know, my title, he stepped on the U.S. title.
Yeah.
He stepped on the U.S. title. Like, screw your main roster championship. This is the shit that matters. But nope, Rhea Ripley came title in hand, not you say hat in hand, title in hand. Hey, can you fight me, Charlotte Flair, please? Like, fuck this. I'm sorry. This is, I can't. And I love them both, but it's just like, this is so silly. That's another match I just don't care about to watch.
I think Becky and Shayna, yeah,
that match
that can happen. That should happen.
I can't wait. I can't wait for that.
But yeah.
I can't wait for that. Like, I'm looking. Even though, like, I wish Becky was still wearing the bandage. I wish she never took off the bandage because, like, you know, like I wish she like sold that bite because, like, you know, in their match you can do a spot where like Shayna rips off the bandage, or something like that. I don't know, but like
this should be just a fight.
Yeah, like this.
From the get.
You can't see. I mean, like, there's gonna be some like grappling, obviously, because that's what Shayna Baszler excels at, like dissecting her opponent. Yeah. That's like how her matches are built around. So, like, you know, actually, you know, there could be some grappling in this match, but like, you know, this is gonna be exciting.
Yeah, it should be more of a brawl a brawl type of thing. Yeah, it should be some grappling, but no rest holds and no catches, catch can.
Yeah, exactly. This is another match. These two deserve a crowd. Like those, like, because Shayna is really good at like her matches. Like, you know, we've seen her matches live. Like her matches start off with the crowd just watching and paying attention, and by the end, everyone's losing their minds.
Yeah.
Like, it's so crazy how seeing how she can control a crowd.
Yeah, but I think Shayna should win. Yeah, she should win.
Yeah.
Yep. On Saturday or Sunday.
Like, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, because I think Becky's issue, not really her issue, is like after WrestleMania last year, she didn't really, like, after Ronda left, she didn't really have that, you know, that blockbuster opponent. You know, Lacey wasn't that. You know.
No.
Natty was great. They had a great match at SummerSlam, but Natty wasn't her. That's not the opponent Becky needs, you know? And Sasha Banks, wasn't.
Wait, she fought Sasha when?
Hell in a Cell.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. I forgot about that completely. That match. Damn, yeah.
Yeah, she needed her 1A. She was 1. She needed 1A. She didn't have that after WrestleMania. To me, they should have done Trish versus Becky at SummerSlam. To me, that would have been great.
Or Lita versus Becky.
I don't know. Maybe, but no.
I mean, Trish
is a little more active. You know, she already had a match.
Yeah. I only said that because they already did Trish versus Charlotte. So I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like SummerSlam should have been Becky. Like she needed a big opponent. You know.
Yeah, like anyone. Like I mean, Lacey Evans is like you know, she's gotten a lot better. But yeah, she
shouldn't have faced Becky
not ready.
But Shayna is a great person for Becky.
Shayna's been ready.
Yeah, because Shayna killed everybody in NXT, and Becky killed everybody on Raw and SmackDown. You know, it only makes sense. You know.
Yeah.
And she hasn't lost. Really. She hasn't lost really. You know, she hasn't lost her title. And I think someone who's held a title for so long, and then you have a killer on NXT, her beating Becky will make a lot. It will mean so much. You know, because they need more top level women. You know what I mean? Because Becky is incredible. She doesn't really have someone that's like, I don't want to say on her level. That's you know, there's no one as over as Becky. That's what I'm trying to say.
You know, that's a situation where you probably could have had, like, Shayna come up on the main roster with the NXT title and challenge Becky for her women's title.
No, fuck the NXT title. No, she got to come and she needs something to conquer, you know? Yeah, with Shayna, she should have no association with NXT anymore. Nope, no more. Like when they did the interview with her on Raw recently, which I loved, her nameplate was like an NXT nameplate. Like, no. Whoever did that.
It was still an NXT nameplate?
Yeah. It was stupid.
What?
Like, she should have no association with NXT right now. She's stupid. Right. It was stupid. Hopefully it was just a production error or something like that.
Yeah, they've been having a lot of those. That's a pretty deliberate production error. But whatever. I mean, they've done worse. You know, they've literally given people their entire other names, so. But what other matches are happening? WrestleMania?
The Street Profits were supposed to defend their titles against Andrade and Angel Garza, but I think Andrade quarantined himself, so I don't know if that match is happening.
So what are you going to do?
What?
What are the Street Profits going to do?
It's a good question.
Jesus. You see, I think there are 17 matches on this card, but I only know of 4 of them. Like... Like usually WrestleMania is like I usually care about a few of them, and now it's like I only know 4 of them that are happening.
Yeah, so like AJ and Undertaker, that doesn't need to happen. I don't need to see that.
Not anymore.
At least not right now.
Not anymore. not the way they're building it.
No, I don't need to see
that. What else is happening? There's like 2 nights, but only 4 matches that I want to watch. Like Jesus.
Whoever Goldberg is facing. Apparently it's Braun Strowman.
I don't want to.
But I don't want to see. I mean, Goldberg just needs a body at this point. Let's say if he kills somebody in a minute, he kills Braun Strowman in a minute, then he faces somebody else. I don't know, because I would do Brock and Roman at a later date, but I don't think Goldberg should have the title right now.
Could you imagine if Lesnar beat McIntyre and then him and Goldberg fight again on night 2? Could you imagine?
Oh, hell no.
Oh, it sounds like a thing they would do, though.
That'd be funny.
It would be fucking hilarious. It does sound like a thing they would do. Like, just like... why not?
If they do, let's say if, what was I going to say? Okay, let's say Goldberg just beats somebody, right? Whoever it is. Vince McMahon or Braun Strowman or Michael Cole. Whatever. He eats somebody up. Then, like, the Fiend comes out and, like, kills him and takes his belt back. You can do that. I don't know.
He literally eats Goldberg. Like, he literally eats him. And then there's no pin. He eats him. And then he has the belt. There's no pin.
That would be WCW. That's some WCW level stuff.
Yo, that Boneyard match is going to be some WCW shit. I know, like a Boneyard? What the fuck are they going to do? Hit each other with plastic
It's just a different form of an empty arena match. It's just an excuse for them to film it at some random location.
Oh, no. AJ's going to hit Undertaker with a big bone, like a big doggy bone. Oh, man.
Yep, he's going to keep referencing Michelle. Yeah. I hope not.
God.
I hope they just beat the shit out of each other and just call it a day. That's it.
Like, what else?
Edge and Orton.
I guess...
that should be great.
Edge and Orton should be...
Oh, Sami Zayn versus Daniel Bryan?
Oh, my God.
But that might not happen because Daniel Bryan's quarantined.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of glad because, like, that's a match I want to see in an arena.
Or maybe they'll do... Let's say if Bryan isn't at WrestleMania, they'll do Drew Gulak versus Sami Zayn. I wouldn't mind that at all. Be a great opportunity for Drew.
Oh, and you can have something for Daniel Bryan to chase.
Yeah.
Like, it's like him and Gulak are buddies now.
But why would Bryan need to chase Drew Gulak?
No, I mean, not chase Drew Gulak, chase the championship. Like, they're buddies, but Daniel Bryan's goal, he wants the title, maybe. Is that, that's the reason why he wants to fight Sami Zayn.
It would make sense if they did the other way.
Yeah,
Bryan wins the title and Gulak chases him.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but Bryan's quarantined.
Yeah.
So, there's Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross versus
that might not happen.
Kairi Sane.
Asuka is quarantined too.
Good, yeah. Fine, great. Oh my God, yes, she should be uploading her on her YouTube channel. Oh my God, her YouTube channel is incredible. I'd much rather watch that because like Alexa's been challenging Asuka, calling out Asuka, and like Alexa's great. Like she's like like her talking trash is great and everything, but like I think it's sad because I think Asuka and Nikki are the only people who care about the tag team titles, the women's tag titles.
I tried.
Asuka and Kairi are holding them, and they don't care about the championship as much as Alexa and Nikki do. I think that's hilarious.
They should quarantine the women's tag titles.
Because like I saw Alexa talking mad greasy to Asuka, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, why are you calling out Asuka for? She beat you already. And like, oh, I want the titles. I'm like, what titles? I'm like, oh,
that's right.
That's right. She has the tag title. I forgot about those championships altogether. Like, so
I don't care about them. I don't.
Neither does Asuka and Kairi. Asuka and Kairi don't give a damn about those titles.
They haven't given us any reason to care about it. So why should we care about it? You know?
Okay, I think it was the same thing for Bayley and Sasha. I think those titles were made as a way of, hey, look, we know you guys should have probably had a one-on-one program by now, so we're gonna give you these titles, these women's tag titles. This means something, right? The same thing with Asuka and Kairi. Those two, on paper, would have a perfect one-on-one feud. But they're both Japanese, so we might as well make them a tag team, right?
Yeah, but you could do that later.
Yeah, that's
you do that
true.
down the line.
Yeah.
Because I think the money in Asuka and Kairi is individually.
Because you remember when Kairi was like the craziest like baby face?
Oh, she was so great. Yeah.
And she still is. But the thing is, like, they booked her to be a heel, which is like,
what else can be possibly going on at WrestleMania? They don't need to have all these matches. All you need is like at least everything going on right now.
2 6-hour shows.
They have 14 matches. All you need like 6 at the most now.
2 6-hour shows. I mean, I guess they...
John Cena and Bray Wyatt. That should be interesting.
Some of these matches might go out. I mean, I doubt it.
No. Not now. That would be really stupid if that happens. No, there's no Broadways now. No way in hell. Yeah, John Cena and Bray Wyatt. Star-making moment for Bray Wyatt. That should be interesting. Having a Firefly... What is it? Firefly Funhouse match.
Wait, no, they're not. They're having a Firefly Funhouse match? Mm-hmm. Oh, my...
It's not anything. It's just a way for them to have they can shoot on a different location. Yeah, it's silly, but WWE has to brand everything. So that's all it is.
Firefly Funhouse match?
Yeah.
I just said I was excited for this.
This is gonna be an interesting WrestleMania.
Firefly Fun. Why did they gotta?
very, very excited.
Jesus Christ! God damn it! Oh, whatever. Why am I surprised? It's all right.
I'm picturing it. Like, you know what I'm picturing? Like just a theater stage, a theater stage, right? With like weird things happening. You know what I mean? It's like Rocky's. What was that? Rocky Picture Show.
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
That's it. That's it. That's the Firefly Funhouse match.
Jesus Christ!
I can't wait.
God!
I can't freaking wait.
Oh my!
I cannot freaking wait.
Okay, Edge and Randy Orton in a last minute standing match. I understand that.
Yep.
They're not gonna have a Beth Phoenix on a pole match. or an RKO match.
That would be great.
Let's see who RKO is the other first.
That would be incredible.
I can't do this stuff. Okay, what else is...
Oh, yeah, Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins.
Okay, that's fine. Be good. Okay, but could you imagine if they branded that as a performance center match?
I have nothing to say to that. That'd be great.
A Firefly Funhouse match? Like, it's alright. It's alright, I guess. Why am I surprised?
What if Triple H faces Goldberg?
Oh my god!
They do a rematch from Unforgiven.
I mean,
oh man, they gotta play that match. They've been playing matches, replaying old matches on Raw and SmackDown recently. They should replay that match. Goldberg versus Triple H.
Oh my god, Goldberg versus Triple H.
That's like how to not do a Goldberg match.
That's how not to do a Triple H match too.
Ooh, Lord.
Cause could you imagine if he throws Goldberg into the buckle and he breaks his back? It's not funny. It's not funny.
It's not funny.
It's not funny at all. Because Goldberg
It's not funny.
Goldberg lays everything in. Like he sells everything. So most things.
No. It would be funny. Triple H Iron trips Goldberg into the buckle, and the turnbuckle falls apart.
The turnbuckle, yeah.
The turnbuckle falls apart.
Cause I feel like Goldberg he will slam himself into the turnbuckle,
and it'll make it 10 times as funnier. Is that it's an empty arena, so you hear them. He goes right to the buckle. The buckle crashes. You hear him go, "Oh fuck! Oh shit! My fucking!"
And he beats the shit out of Triple H out of anger.
Like, and then Triple H breaks character. Are you alright, Bill? Everything right? You okay, Bill? I'm fine, Paul. I'm fine. I love it. Jesus. I love it.
Oh man.
Woo boy.
Oh man. I mean,
here's a match that shouldn't happen. Elias versus what's his name? Baron Corbin. That should not happen. God. They should do that on SmackDown next week or something. That should not be.
I mean, I like Elias and everything. Okay, look. Here's one thing about that football player that they signed.
What's his name?
What the hell, Gronk or whatever?
Yeah, what about him?
I mean, he shouldn't be there, but I'm sure he's a nice guy. But I think the only good thing...
Oh, he's hosting WrestleMania. That's the thing. Like, what do you do?
Yeah.
Hosting what? In front of who?
I think the only good thing about him debuting was that it got me to feel bad for Baron Corbin. Because, Baron Corbin, he's not, he's not great or anything, but, at least he's actually, a wrestler. And, that's sort of, I could tell, Baron, he likes doing this. And, you have a guy, then you have this Gronkowski there. There's a difference between a wrestler and a guy pretending to be a wrestler. And Gronk strikes me as a guy, I'm pretending to be a wrestler, guys. Isn't this cool? I'm just like, oh, fuck this. This is so stupid. Like, I don't know. I don't care for... I don't care... Like, I really don't care for them signing people.
You know what's also interesting about this year's WrestleMania? If they'll have a musical guest. Most likely not. But I think...
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
A lot of musicians, right? They can't tour right now. So a lot of them are doing live streams and putting out stuff on Bandcamp or whatever. And I think some of them should, like, reach out to Vince. Like, what if we do a performance? We record it in our living room and you just air it for WrestleMania. We can be the special guest performance. Oh my God. But that would be bad. I wouldn't want that because the last thing people want to see right now is a musical performance at WrestleMania.
What if?
But let's see what they do. Maybe the Gronk performs.
What if Sasha Banks debuts her new song?
Oh yeah.
Holy Christ.
In front of nobody. Oh, I love it. I would love it.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Well, at least I got to see Joan Jett play out Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, I wish I was there for that.
I was freezing. No, you don't. No, you don't. I was freezing my ass off. It was midnight. I'm like, oh, it's Joan Jett. I'm dead. After that Kofi versus Daniel match, I was dead. I was so tired. I was freezing. I was tired. I was getting sick. But I was like, how's Joan Jett? Fire. Oh, cool. I needed that because it was, it was freezing. But that was a good time. It was a good time, but I was sitting in the same seat for 7 hours. But
that's the thing. Like, what if they do 2 7-hour shows?
Great. We got nowhere else to. We got nothing else to do.
But like,
why not watch 8 hours of WrestleMania?
Oh my God! Like, one of those matches has to go a while, I guess. If you're gonna do 2 7-hour shows,
this is gonna be quite the show, man. It's gonna be quite the show. I just hope Triple H is a part of it because I don't know, Triple H, man.
He should be hosting.
Oh yeah. It
should be him. Why is it freaking Ron Gronkowski, whatever the hell his name is?
I love Hunter, man. All right. It's been the Wrestling Caucus. Another one. We'll do another one of these sometime in a couple weeks. We'll recap this very interesting WrestleMania.
Hopefully by then there'll be people in the audiences of wrestling shows. I pray for it.
Yep. I'm Peter A.
I'm Smiley Arriaga. Please stay safe and...
Wash your goddamn hands.
Yeah, if you didn't know how to do that already. Good God.